All right, you have got to see this. Deep in the forests of Malaysia, something has just been found and it looks like it's straight out of a sci-fi movie. It's not an animal, it's a plant. And it has a really clever, kind of sinister secret. Today, we're meeting the fairy lantern.
So, what in the world is that? I mean, just look at it. It's not an animal, it's not a fungus. What are we looking at here? And it's not just us asking that question. The person who actually discovered it was just as baffled.
And yeah, that's exactly what went through the mind of naturalist Gim Siew Tan when she stumbled upon this thing. You can almost hear her thinking it, right? First, it's, wow, this is so pretty and unique. And then immediately after, wait, what is this? That feeling of awe turning into total confusion.
So let's get into how this thing was even found, because the story is just as wild as the plant itself. Picture this. It's November 2023, and we're in a forest just outside Kuala Lumpur. And the best part? The person who found it wasn't even looking for new plants.
Nope, not at all. She was actually out looking for something else that's super weird, slime molds. And if you know anything about slime molds, you know they're tiny. So she said her eyes were already trained to spot these little hidden things on the forest floor. And I love how she put it. She said, "I like to think that it found me."
And this is where modern science gets really cool. So what do you do when you find something bizarre in the woods? You post it online. Tan uploaded her photos to this awesome platform called iNaturalist. And that's where a botanist, Siti Munirah, saw it, and her jaw probably hit the floor. She knew right away it was an undiscovered species. A whole team gets together, and just like that, Thismia selangorensis gets its official name and is introduced to science.
Okay, so we know how it was found, but what is a fairy lantern? Let's break down why this thing looks so alien. First off, you can't miss that weird umbrella-shaped dome on top. They call it a mitre. The thinking is, it might act like a little roof, protecting the important bits inside. And then you've got those three tentacle-looking things. What do? Honestly, nobody's quite sure yet. But here's the kicker. This whole structure, that's just the flower. The rest of the plant spends most of its life completely underground with these really weird, stumpy, coral-like roots.
All right, but this is where the story takes a really wild turn. Because this thing, it's a plant that doesn't act like a plant. You'll notice it has no green leaves, right? That means no photosynthesis. So how does it eat? Well, it doesn't make its own food, it steals it. This plant is a full-on cheater. Okay, think about how most plants work. There's this huge underground network of fungi. Plants make sugar from sunlight, and they trade that sugar with the fungi in exchange for nutrients and water. It's a classic win-win partnership. But the fairy lantern? Oh no, it just taps into that network, and it's all take, take, take. It gives nothing back. It literally steals the nutrients that the fungus has collected from other plants nearby. It's a total heist.
There's a fancy scientific name for this kind of lifestyle, of course. It's called a mycorrhizal. If you break it down, it basically means fungus eater, and that's exactly what it is. These plants just gave up on the whole photosynthesis thing, too much work I guess, and decided to become full-time parasites instead.
And just to give you some perspective on how unusual this is, check this out. We know of something like 435,000 different plant species on Earth. Out of all of those, guess how many are mycorrhizals like our fairy lantern? Only about 550. That's it. It's an incredibly rare and specialized way to survive.
So, okay, we've got this super rare plant with a super rare lifestyle. But the story gets even more intense, because its rarity isn't just about how it eats. This species is, right now, hanging on by a thread.
How many have they found? 20. Just 20. And that's not 20 groups of them. That's 20 individual plants. Total. After searching the whole area over and over, that number is just unbelievably small. And as you can probably guess, with a number that low and being found in only one tiny spot on the globe, the researchers are saying this thing needs to be classified as critically endangered, like right now. It's this incredible ghost of the forest that we've only just met, and we could lose it almost immediately. But here's the thing. As weird as this little flower is, it's not a total one-off. It actually belongs to a whole family of weirdos, a group of phantom plants that are famous for being mysterious and hard to find.
Yeah, the whole genus is called Thismia. There are over 110 different species, and they're pretty much all these strange little parasites. You find them mostly in tropical places in Asia and South America.
But weirdly, you won't find a single one in Africa or Europe. Why? Another mystery to add to the pile.
But the absolute biggest mystery in this entire family tree is a ghost story from right here in North America. Back in 1912, a species called Thismia americana was found near Chicago. Now think about that. A tropical parasite in a prairie, thousands of miles from any of its relatives. It makes no sense. People saw it for a few years and then poof, gone. The area was built over and it's been declared extinct. It just vanished.
So you're left with this massive, nagging question that botanists still argue about today. How on earth did a plant like this show up in Chicago? And how did it just disappear? It is, without a doubt, one of the biggest unsolved mysteries in all of botany.
And I think that's what makes discoveries like this new fairy lantern so important. It brings us back to this quote from biologist Vincent Merckx, "Nature is very inventive." And it really is, isn't it? When you've got plants that are professional thieves and ghost flowers that show up in impossible places, it just proves that nature is way, way stranger and more creative than we can ever imagine. Makes you wonder what else is out there just waiting to be found.